Hello all, welcome to Tally CA Connect. Thank you for being here today. So we are going to cover the part 2 of the advanced techniques and insights of using GST in TallyPrime. So we'll be building on the part 1 of the session where we have covered the planning, the GST implementation and the configurations. And today we'll be moving into more deeper things that is and more useful things, that is generation of returns, the management of the spillover transactions, and advanced strategies for managing the GST returns. And definitely more inputs and ideas from Monika ji to help you streamline the GST operations in TallyPrime. So our expert for today, CA Monika Challani, is here. And we are glad that you're okay, feeling much better from the last session. So let us make the best of this session today. Please direct your queries to Q&A so that we can make a record of all the queries and make sure that everything gets answered. So thank you so much. Over to you, Monika ji.
Good evening, everyone. Now, since we were talking about the GST configurations and all the initial steps that are to be done, the initial steps were discussed not because you're going to start a new company. It was discussed so that you don't miss out on any of the implementation which are done. So I will just once just show you the F11 screen, wherein we were discussing about multiple registration, how do we do it, and mainly the HSN and the GST related information, where how they have bifurcated the same and why was it done. So we discussed that in the previous session. Also, how can you check the history? What happens when we change the date? It picks up a particular date. So if you want to do it retrospective, you have to come and in the history. And with history, you'll be able to see how many times the change has been made. And from what date that the change is applicable. Before that date, those changes will not be affected. That is why there's a history for everything, even for additional details. Now, for example, what would be the source of the GST rate? What would be the source of HSN? Is it stock or is it a ledger? And so on and so forth. If you want to ignore a difference in tax value, so on and so forth. Okay.
Monika
so
ji,
that is what.
1 second. So actually, I'm using earphones, so voice is working fine for me. But in the audience, too, we have received 4 people saying the voice is not okay. So maybe if you can try adjusting your earphones, and then we'll ask to the audience only if the voice is okay for them.
Okay. So you
Are you
tell me
using
if my
earphones
voice is
or are you
yeah, I
using?
am using the earphones. So 1 second, just give me a second. Yeah. Now tell me if my voice is proper.
Actually, for me, it is working fine.
Can you remove your earphones and check if that's proper?
Yeah, okay, let me just do that 1 second. Yeah, can you say one more time?
Hello, I'm Monika Challani.
Yeah, actually, your voice is perfect. I think, Mr. Yeah, thank you,
No,
Mr.
there are a lot of people
Yeah,
who are
everybody is
saying.
saying it's fine. Yeah, perfect. So
Okay,
let's
perfect.
continue. Yeah.
Okay, continuing with the session. So F11 features we've discussed in detail. We've done the configurations in detail last session. We've discussed how SafeView can help your workings. Now, one major reason why I picked on saved view this time was to get, for example, a sales explorer, columnar summary. How that is going to help you, I'm going to show you in a couple of minutes. So let's now. So today's agenda is clearly, the return filing. How are we going to, make your return filing better? How are we going to make your return filing faster? Also, how are we going to make it effective? So, major concern when we do return filing is there are a lot of entries that get missed out, or there are a lot of entries that get filed wrongly because of the entries that we passed and the setting that we have made, the configuration that we have created. Because of those mismatches, a lot of entries go booked correctly, while filing in the return it goes wrong. You will follow me better when I show you examples. Okay. So now moving forward, now also this particular sales extract will help you in saying how much of the quantity, how much of sales value, how much of, we have to match it in 9C with the financials. The financials are also, recorded from from your tally data only. So when you get this kind of report, you can directly set the sales value of, sorry, 3.54 is pertaining to GST. Out of which are the ledgers? Now, whatever ledgers have been grouped in your financials in those places, you can just pick it up from here and accordingly map them. So, financial, reconciliation in 9 will also be faster with this particular view. I mean, some people are raising their hands. May I know? Do you want to tell us in the chat what is the issue?
Yeah, actually, yes. Will not let us not disrupt the flow of the thing. We'll address take the questions from the raised hands at the end.
No, because I'm seeing like the screen is
No,
not
I
visible.
just
Someone saying,
actually screen is visible. I think audio and video both are okay for us. Let's continue. I think it's their personal system issue. Miss Arohi Pandya, I think please try rejoining in the Zoom so that it should be fine. Currently, the tally screen is visible to all. Yeah.
all right, yeah. So having said that, let's quickly move to our first return, which is GSTR1. Please use GoTo because it is pretty fast and you don't remember how to, reach to your GSTR1. There are two reports that come in GSTR1 now. So the first report is GSTR1 per se. The second one is GSTR reconciliation. If you ask me, both are the same. Okay? Only difference is you're going to reconcile with the return that you have already filed. That's the only difference. Now let's move to GSTR1 first. Okay, I am sure n number of times we have gone into this return, so there's nothing new about the return. It's only the difference is that in the latest version, you have certain features that have come inside, which are these, the features on the top, plus the status that you can see here. Sign, right now it is not signed. We will see how this will affect your filing and your, reporting process. Okay. So now you see there are certain information that has been given here. For example, first information is included in return. Out of 379 total voucher this period, let me just move to July. We will come back to August. Right now in July, out of 332 entries that have been passed in the month of July, only 126 entries have been included in this return. And 204 entries are not relevant for return. If you add 126 and 204, I'm not going to do any manual calculation. Let me just quickly use the calculator. Yeah, 330 entries. There are still 2 entries that are not accounted, which are these uncertain entries. So mind it, if you do not clear these uncertain entries, these are uncertain transactions, the same entry will not show anywhere in your return. It will not show anywhere in the return, nor will it show your, ignored entries. First thing that you will clear is these uncertain entries. Let us look into what are these uncertain entries. So there are various reasons why are uncertain transactions, wherein there is some action that is needed for the filing process. So now if you see the first one, it says that HSN information is not correctly entered. The moment you clear the HSN information, yeah, let us just get into this debit note and just check what is the issue. So this is some rate difference received. Okay, so this is some rate difference received. Now it is as per master, you pick up the HSN. I'm going to quickly use a GST classification here. Now there's no GST classification, so I'm just going to just make it some service classification I'm going to give, and I'm going to specify it here saying 9999. Okay, just a random entry, that I'm trying to give here, and I'm going to save entry. Okay, it's asking me error. We'll get back to the error. In a while. Excuse me.
Monika ji, your voice is
Yeah,
little
it's
cracking.
asking me.
Is it the internet or not sure if maybe removing the
Give me a
speakers?
second. I will, rectify my internet connection.
Yeah, that should help
Yeah,
because
so that's
it's
what.
cracking.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is the
please.
internet. No, it is. No, 1 second. It is the internet. I will just clarify. All right, just give me a second. I will just update it.
So we'll just with the internet should be okay. So should be fine. Sorry for the inconvenience, but we all know technology sometimes give up on us.
I apologize for the inconvenience. I'm trying to work out the internet.
Have you changed the network?
I'm just trying to do that.
Please bear with us for 2 minutes. It's just so that the entire session goes smoothly. So just 2 minutes. Let's just have the patience. Yeah.
Yeah, now you tell me if it's clear and audible.
So currently it is maybe in the flow we'll come to know if it is okay. Maybe switching off
All
your
right.
video that might help
Yeah,
with
no,
the
I've changed my
streamline.
internet. That's
Yeah. No,
sure.
the voice is okay for me. Yes. Let's continue. Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, so when we talk about this particular bit note, it had some just, asking for the details. Okay, this particular issue has been solved. However, it was still an error. So the entry is still standing here. Now it's telling me that the HSN commission was overridden. Yeah. So since it was overridden, it's asking me, now what do you want to do? Okay. Either you say accept as is or you say GST status. Now, what are the GST status that is there? Do you want to exclude it? Do you want to let the system decide? Okay. Right now, I'm going to just accept it. So exit, clear your errors. Okay. Similarly, here also you're able to see that, this particular entry is there. I'm just quickly delete it. Okay, because it was created like that. So I'll just get into this entry. Let us look into the entry. Same entry. So I'm just going to quickly delete this entry. Caution, never delete an entry right just like unless you have, mentioned that, you don't want to override your invoice numbers. Otherwise, all your further invoice numbers will get renumbered automatically. Okay. Now, this particular entry is again a duplicate entry. So I'm going to delete this one as well. Okay. In case this is not a duplicate entry, please change your voucher number and you will be good to go. Now, since this was originally a duplicate entry, I am deleting the entry for my purpose. Now, mark for deletion, there are two entries again. Okay. So moving further, now if you see 126 plus 204, 330 entries. Now, this is what your return will look like once you have made all the corrections. The first step you are supposed to do is correct this. Second, not relevant for this return. Okay, get into this particular area, and there will be certain vouchers here. Contra vouchers are nothing but your bank and cash transactions. No, 99% these transactions will not be part of your GST transaction. Entry vouchers are all those stock journals and all of those kind of vouchers. Now, in case you have any sort of, say, job work related vouchers, you might have GST in them. So please make sure you take those entries and see if there are any GST left out. Now, other transactions, okay? So if you look at other transactions, there are a set of vouchers that are there. Now, purchase vouchers, we are sure that will not come under GST, but sales, however, will be part of GST. Okay, if there are any entries here that have been missed out due to any reason, okay? Now, for example, I'll just quickly give you an example. I'll get into one of the entries. Okay, this entry, I'm going to exclude it. Yeah, this entry, I'm going to exclude this entry from GST. Okay, am I audible? As in, like, is the voice clear? Because I am
Yeah, the
little.
voice is okay. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for the clarification. So now this particular entry, if you see, it's moved away from here. Gujarat, we'll just remember this Gujarat State Cooperative Marketing. Okay. Just remember this entry. If you just come out, even your GST value would have reduced from 68, it became 67. Now, if you see, there is some change here, marked for deletion on portal. Look at this particular entry has come over here. Okay. Also, not relevant for return. If you just look into this, manually excluded transaction, you'll find the entry here. Okay, so it's very, very important, because if you have an accountant who does not know much about the returns or does not know much about GST configuration, will tend to do these errors, maybe intentional, maybe unintentional. However, in either cases, the company is is what is going to. So this particular section, just go through it before you file your return. Now, in this case, this particular entry was supposed to be included. I'm just going to change the stuff, or I'm going to just say you include this entry, and it will show you either in the error or it's going to show you in the return information. Once this you have checked all this, the transactions of other GST return, again, this is nothing but of GSTR2. Okay, the input entry. Check if there's any entry related to your sales which is lying here. Okay, if there's any such entry, you will have to take steps accordingly to bring it in this year. Having said that, once all this is cleared, the return will show correctly. Now, is this correct? Is this information right? Most probably it can be right, but however, there's one more place where you're supposed to look into. Okay, which is exception reports. Okay, exception reports, transactions accepted as valid. Now, right now, there are no transactions. Now, let me just quickly make one change and show you how this will get affected. Okay. Now, I'm just going to get into this particular entry. All such errors happen in regular scenarios where it's not it's not necessary that it may be a genuine, fraud or whatever. It can just be a small error also. So instead of 720, I'm going to make it 719. Okay, I'm going to make it 719. And if you don't have security, that's going to give me an option telling you override, accept, or cancel. Yeah. So that is why security is important. Once we are done with the returns, I'll spend 5 minutes on security. Yeah. If you come here, it's under uncertain transaction. Okay. If I just go here and I say, yeah, accept it, it is going to accept it. I'll say accept as is. It's going to say, yes, okay. Do you want to accept it? And it's going to disappear. That's how accountants do generally. Now, how will you know these transactions? How are you going to find out these transactions? These transactions will come and lie here in exception reports, transaction accepted as valid, with dispatch between expected and modified tax rate. Now, transaction accepted as is format, transaction accepted as is. Okay. Now, there are different scenarios wherein you might accept the HSN information, which might be wrong. All such information that is filed wrong will also amount to penalty if figured out. So, how to clear these transactions? You just get inside these entries, check if there are any genuine acceptance. Now, sometimes what happens, the system does not accept no matter what you do. In those cases, you might have to accept as is. So you have to know whether it is genuinely the case. So the moment you undo accept as is, the entries will come and show you on your return place as it is, and you have to rectify them, and then they will form part of your return. Are we clear till here? So here it's showing me uncertain transaction. Now you can either get into the transaction and rectify. Okay, you can either get into the transaction and rectify, or there was an option. I think it will come in the second scenario, which we will see in a short while, wherein if you see in the regular information, you can expect the data right there. Yeah. Now there's no difference. You can very well proceed to file your return. Once you have checked whether the one has been filed or not, you can file these returns. Now, mark for deletion. I saw one query regarding that. Mark deletion, the entry is still available in Tally. So how do we go about that? Once you have filed your return, okay, these entries will be marked for deletion in Tally. If you have not filed your return and if you delete the entry, there will be no such information that it's marked for deletion and all of that. It will automatically delete itself. So now, since the return was filed earlier, that is why it is going to be marked for deletion. We will look into this. So I said the first step which is this place wherein not relevant for return. Before that, you have to clear your uncertain transaction. Now, certain times what we feel, let's first see all these extra items and then come to these uncertain transactions, because in case there are some entries there, you'll have to come again to this place. So what we generally do, I start with the exception reports first. Okay. Once, let me just see if there are any genuinely, deliberately made mistakes or anything that has been wrongly accepted. So first we check here. After which I will check if there are entries that have been excluded from the return, which should have been included. After which I will clear all these uncertain transactions. Once you have done all these three, your information will go correctly. This is the return format. Now, if we just change view here, and I want to see nature view. Okay. Then you show me what is local supply, what is the interstate supplies. Now this again shows me what is the registered dealer supply, what is the consumer supply, which is nothing but your B2B and B2C. Now, Won't this information be helpful for you when you are, wanting the information from B2B, B2C, rate-wise information right over here? So this is what it is. Now you can just, export this and you can give your information for your table 99C. Okay. For the entire, now do you want to give the information from here or you want from another report? That is up to you. But however, this view is also available. Now, can you save this view and keep? Yes. I want to say this is GSTR1 nature-wise report. And just save it. Do you want this to be your default view for this report? I would say no, because you want every. So no. Do you want it to selected period and all of that? The moment you save it, this view is saved. All you need is all select that particular view and you can proceed. Now, okay, now we have checked all the information. We have checked it and now we are ready. Now, once you are ready to file, you can open your GST portal from here itself. Okay, and you can upload the JSON. Now, when you want to upload, okay, now you want to upload, which is nothing but export. Okay, you're gonna export the GST return, and you want to export the GST return. Okay, the moment you say export, now before that, just go to F12, show party GST and yes, so show section, just show GST status, all of that, and you just go for export. Now it'll ask you the folder you want to export in and the format you want to export. Let me just take the folder. Okay, file format JSON for exporting. Do you want to export separate files for each section? I'm sure you would appreciate. Now, in case you have an e-invoice, e-invoices are directly uploaded into the system. Okay, all other invoices you're supposed to upload. In that case, you can use this separate file for each section. Even if you export the GSTR1 from here, the e-invoices will still remain available, and all your B2B transaction will not get imported from here. Okay, either way you can upload. However, if you want, only imagine you have some error correction made in any of the particular section, and you want to just upload that section. In those cases, you can say yes, and all the section like B2B, B2C, HSN, document summary, everything will get uploaded separately. In those cases, you can use this particular information. The folder path, you can select from here. Do you want to open the folder after export? Either if you want it or not, you can look into your requirement. Once this is done, you can log into the portal. You log into the portal and upload your return. Now, can uploading happen through Tally? Not yet, but in the coming versions, they are working on this. So it may come in the future. Now, if you just look into this, this is the GSTR1 for the entire period. If you just look into this, this has, say, the invoice information. This has the document information. If you just look into this, this is the document information. This is the HSN information, okay, description and all of that. So everything has come into this particular GSTR. And the same GSTR. Now it's showing you some errors. That the HSN number has been mismatched. Okay. All that information it is showing. Okay. Now once this return has been filed, now any changes made by anybody, you wouldn't want them to. Okay. You wouldn't want that information to be updated in this return. We are sure. All of us have faced this. To do that, you can use this F10 mark as sign. Okay. Now you want to mark current return signed, or you want to mark all the returns that have been filed so far as signed. Based on your, if you're doing it for the first time, I would suggest you do this, and every month onwards you do mark current return as signed. But before you do this mark current and previous return as signed, make sure you have checked all the returns that I have filed, whether they are matching each other. Now, how would we check that? Also, I'm going to show you. Once you mark this as signed, no matter what change you make in the data, the same will not get affected in this particular month return.
So, Monica ji, there are a few Q&As also. If
Yeah,
we are
you can
waiting for
ask
the
them now
screen.
because it's anyway stay. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, so one is how to clear export status of GSTR1 if we want to export again fully.
Yeah, I just showed you that. That's what I did. It was already exported.
Okay,
Despite that, I have exported it fully.
then can you please again explain the exception part once again? Could not follow properly.
All right. Okay. So coming here, I will just do a thing. I will create one exception now because since we have marked the return as signed, both were covered. So what I'm going to do, the same entry I'm going to take. Okay, the same entry, I'm going to make it 719. Okay, here again, I'm going to make this also 719. Actual value is 720. Okay, there may be many types of exceptions. I'm doing this exception as of now. Okay, I'm going to just accept this entry. Okay, that, and over here, it is gonna, since the value is wrong, it's going to show me here. Okay. Now the accountant has had, he tried his level best to find out what was the error, and he couldn't just figure out what the error was. Okay, and instead of doing this, he did either of the two. He either accepted the entry or he just he either accepted the entry, or what he did, he was like, okay, fine, yeah, I'm just excluding this entry. Okay. Either ways, it's wrong. It cannot be accepted also. It cannot be rejected also. Okay, it had to be corrected. So what happened? This person has done and his information is ready to flow. Now, where will you find this particular transaction is here. Now, earlier this used to come in the exception reports as well, but now it is only coming in the excluded transaction. So this has to be seen separately either places. So please beware and make sure this particular information is available. Okay. So now what I'm gonna just do, I'm gonna just accept as this. Okay. So the moment I say accept as this particular entry, so this particular entry has been accepted as this. Effective date for amendment. I'm extremely sorry for the glitch that is happening, but it's completely beyond my control. So I'll just do a thing. I'll quickly undo signing and okay. So moment you realize that you have made some error and you have not still signed your return, which means you have not filed your return yet. Okay, the return is only uploaded and you have not filed. Only then you can do this. Otherwise, if you do if you undo signing before after filing the return, the purpose is lost, which is why we would suggest not to do this. Okay, and let this be an error. Set the effective date and it's gonna move to the next period. But there is some issue here. Ma'am, can we just go into the next question? I will take this up immediately after all this happens.
Okay. The next question is how to stop change of entries after filing GST return.
Yeah, if the status as signed, you will be able to stop the changes. You will not be able to stop the changes, but those changes will not affect your return.
Okay. This is question nil rated orders does not come with state-wise and B2B. Nil rated orders does not come with state-wise and B2B nil rated doesn't come under B2B tab. The question is not put. I think maybe.
Yeah, I understood the question. Yes, it will not come because it does not get filed itself. Nil rated entries, your nil rated. Okay. Nil rated entries, there's a separate section itself.
Nil rated orders does not come with state-wise and B2B nil rated doesn't come under B2B tab. Should I move on to next question?
Yeah, I was waiting for the screen. Yeah. So nil rated will not come under B2B, it will come here. Okay, it'll come here and it will come and that too only I don't think it'll come state-wise. However, the information will come here.
Okay. Any way to speed up opening of these GST returns and updating GST status on transaction? We do have latest processor that we can do, but it is still underutilized.
Okay. So this particular newer version Tally is actually very fast. The same transactions, if you would have done in a version of Tally, it would have taken a couple of minutes, but this is only taking a couple of seconds. So this is pretty fast now. Just upgrade to the latest version.
Okay, and I think previously you have covered the marked for deletion on the portal but entry showing in Tally. And it's mentioned, but in GSTR1, it's showing marked for deletion, how to remove or rectify this. I think we have covered this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can we maintain accounts only without inventory and still file GSTR1?
Can we account? I'm sorry. Can you repeat? Ma'am, can you repeat the question? Komal, can you repeat the question?
Yeah. Saying, can we maintain accounts only without the inventory, and still file the GSTR1, like GSTR1 without the inventory?
We've been filing like that only, no? GST1 without inventory. Do you mean by without inventory, do you mean you don't want to mention the HSN code? Or how is it? Can we get some clarity on this?
Okay, then we'll take it up. Mr. Harikishan, you can put in the Q&A. We'll take it up next. You can continue with your next topic. Yeah.
Perfect. So now if you just look into this, we have accepted this and there's a new, column that has come in, which is mismatched. Okay. Also, this will show in your exception reports now, accepted as valid, wherein the values have been modified by the person. Now, what modification and all of that will not show here. However, it shows that what has been modified. They have modified that the tax amount over here. That will show here. Okay, and the moment you say undo acceptance, it'll go and sit in the error place. It will go and sit in uncertain transaction for you to make the correction. Okay, so you can make your correction here. In the earlier versions of Tally, you were allowed the corrections in the return place itself. I think it's coming back in the newer version. So again, get this facility where you will be able to make the correction. However, I would suggest you get into the entry and do the correction, not in the return area itself. Okay. Once you do this, again, your entries are all ready. Okay. Now you can mark the return as signed once you have uploaded the return and filed. Once you have filed, you have to mark the return as signed, after which no corrections will get affected in the return. Now, if let us look into this feature alone. Ma'am, we can take up one more question meanwhile.
So actually the clarification, the inventory question, so he has reverted without accounting stock items. That is without inventory accounting.
Yes,
so I think
it is possible.
Yeah, possible. Yeah.
Yeah, it is possible. However, HSN is a compulsory item, so you have to mention the HSN in your ledger. But having said that, now HSN information will become incomplete because your quantity will not show because inventory is not accounted. Okay, so that will create some hassle for you. So it's better to account the inventory in Tally. However, if business is such that you don't require inventory, then very well. You can just account it without inventory also.
Yeah. When you just mentioned that the newer version reduces the opening of the GST returns, it just came to my mind. So we also have an announcement to make for, I'm sure the CAs mostly are using TallyPrime or later version, or most of them are in the current version. So there's a campaign, or maybe to help people migrate from ERP 9 to TallyPrime. There's a special offer for existing Tally ERP 9 users, that if you upgrade to TallyPrime now, you get 4 months of TSS free. So this is the right time. If you know some of your clients who are still on ERP 9, please let them know that this offer is currently going on, and they can upgrade to TallyPrime and make sure they get all the benefits of the newest features and other benefits. Yeah. So moving on, there is another. Should we take up one more question, or how do you
No,
do?
we will just proceed with the session.
Okay, yeah,
Okay,
sure.
coming back, now we'll take this questions at the end of the session directly. Okay, yeah. So coming back to this particular return which we were talking, we've discussed it in detail, like how to rectify the error. Now I have marked the return as signed. If you just look at the status, it shows signed. The moment it shows signed, let me just quickly add an entry here. Let me take another entry. We've been only working with Himalaya, I think that is. So I'm just going to quickly get into this entry. Okay. And I'm going to duplicate this entry. Okay. And just changing the invoice number 2324, it's 530, it says. So I'm going to just make it 530 itself. Or let's just make it, okay, 530 itself, dated 14 July. And all other details are the same. So I'm not going to just, waste much time. I'm just going to accept this entry. Yeah, this particular entry now, I have booked it in July. If you just, so if you just look into this, transaction cannot be added in this return period as the return is signed. Such transaction cannot be uploaded. In such case, there's an option called set effective date. Okay, GSTR1 effective date. Okay, I'm just going to make it 1st October 23, 1st August 23. And the moment I do this, move to other return periods. Okay, this information will show. However, as I just showed you, the entry was right. Okay, the entry was right and it was showing in this return, but however, it didn't get included in the B2B transaction because the return was signed. That means the return has been uploaded and no changes can be made. Are we clear till here? Now I'm just going to move forward. Now let us go into GSTR1 reconciliation. Okay, this is nothing but we are reconciling the return that we have already filed. There's an option called in which we can import the GST return. What is the GST type? You can create a folder and keep all your GST returns in that folder, return wise. The moment I select the folder, it will ask me which one we want to match, and we want to match the July month return, and it will match for you. So literally Tally is doing your reconciliation as well. This is with return, but before you file, there's one more step which we'll have to do, which I'll just take you through in just a couple of minutes. However, make sure when you do your configuration, if you pass entries for 28 and you are, having 30, yeah. Now, if you just look into this. Yeah, if you just look into this, it's been reconciled. However, in the credit note debit, there are two entries here. However, there's only one entry here. Okay. In that case, that means the entry has been deleted after uploading, but it was not signed. In that matter, what you can just do is if you just look in this same so this entry you will have to repass or delete, however it is, you'll have to do the same to match the return. Okay, there are two modes that you can look into it, either the differential mode or the comparison mode. In comparison mode, you'll be seeing the value. In differential mode, you'll be seeing the difference. However, this particular return has entry has not been filed. Also, there's one more information that was there, wherein the credit note number got replaced, with which it was showing you a different value. So you might have to make those changes. If that entry is really not supposed to be there, it's supposed to, mark it for deletion in the next step. Okay. Once this is done, you rest assured your return filing is completed. Now, there was a question where mark for deletion portal is there, and sorry, it is to be marked for deletion, and it's still there in the Tally system. In those cases, again, what you can do is now, since it was already done before signing the return, it is getting affected. Now, let me just quickly just delete. Okay. This entry is for deletion in the portal. Now there is an option to set effective date. I received an information in my system that my net is unstable. Is it fine? Komal, can you confirm? Is my internet fine? Am I audible? Thank you so much. Okay. I'm extremely, apologetic for the internet lag, but I have no option to, rectify it. I'm trying my level best to work with the internet. I'm very sorry for that. Okay. So having said that, let's just move ahead of this lag of the glitch. Now you can set the effective date to August. The moment you set the effective date to August, this will get moved to the next return. Now, if you go to August month return, you will see that, this has been marked for deletion and, all other errors. There's a new the error that has come. Let me just check this entry. If that works for us, we can work it out. Okay, this particular entry is just not opening. Okay, however, if this opens, I'll show you. But GSTR1 so far, we have covered everything possible. Now, let me just quickly go to the next return, GSTR2B or 2A. I would suggest please reconcile because GSTR2A is what shows in GSTR9 as of now. Maybe this changes, but GSTR2B is what we have to do for our 3B filing. So you have to reconcile both GSTR 2A as well as 2B. Now, what's the difference between 2A and 2B? I'm sure all of us know. I'm just quickly telling for the benefit of people who do not know. GSTR 2A is all the entries pertaining to that period. It will show in 2A. GSTR 2B is the return, the entries that are filed before the due date, before or on the due date. Also, the entries that have been filed after the previous period's return entries that are filed after the due date. Okay, which is nothing but the previous period. For example, if it's August, July return entries that are filed after the due date of July, plus all August return entries that are filed for the due date of July, August, sorry. So even if it pertains to a different period, it will still show in GSTR 2B. However, in GSTR 2A, whatever is related to the month of August will show no matter when it has been filed. So that is different. So, you're supposed to match both. GSTR 2A has to keep, updating itself because the values may change. But 2B in that case will not change because the return information becomes static. It's a static return. Having said that, let us quickly see how GSTR 2B is matched. Again, the process is the same. Go to import of return. Okay, GSTR 2B, show the path. The moment you select the path, the importing will happen and the reconciliation also will happen in the backdrop. Whatever Tally cannot reconcile, only it will show here. All other reconcilable items will be automatically reconciled. Now, if you see, there are certain invoices. Now, there are views which you can change. Now, basis of values, I don't want to see all transactions. I want only, say, mismatch transactions, or I want only unreconciled transactions. Let me just see unreconciled transactions as of now. Yeah, so it's showing me all the unreconciled transactions. Now I want it voucher wise. Yeah, available only in portal. These are the unreconciled transactions. Now in this case, if you see Virukripa Enterprises 116 and this 116 is the same. So the moment I make this change here, yeah, this particular entry has been reconciled. Similarly, you can see manually and make these changes. Now, these entries are still not getting reconciled. So you can set the GST status. Okay. Now, if you just see over here, it is just showing status of return. If you just do F12 configuration, if you want to show the status separately, it will show you separately. Now, in this case, it's available only in books, so I'm just going to exclude this because it is not going to be taken. Similarly, in 3B also we are supposed to be excluding this item. So on and so forth, you can move on. Now 264, now this is the invoice number. Let me just quickly copy this invoice number. Copying possible? No. BOGZLCM. So you can either rectify the invoice number or just set the status as matched. Okay. Instead of system inferred, you say reconcile. Here also you say, and the same information will be reconciled. So on and so forth. You can match all your entries. Once it has been matched, you can go to your GST 3B and it's the same. Now, for example, these are the unreconciled information where it's available in transactions and so on and so forth. There are some uncertain transactions here as well. Please rectify these before you start. Okay. Now, GST registration number has not been, included in the sorry, it has been invalid information. So you can check the information and make the correction. Okay. The moment you do that, your GST information will flow rightly. Yeah. Now duplicate invoice number. Again, this you can rectify. I'm just numbering it as 11. And the errors, you can rectify the errors and accordingly work this out. Okay. Now, if you just look at this, there are only a couple of unreconciled transactions. Okay. Now, if you just look into this, the mismatch is in the invoice number, which shows 000530. Now, there are certain configurations that you can do. Okay. So there are options named as show potential matches for the entries. Now, for example, now it is showing you the potential matches. Okay. These are the potential matches for the entries, and you can, rectify your entries and then accordingly accept them. Now, this is the match. Where is the error? If you just look into this particular transaction, the error is in the GST number. There is no GST number in this particular entry. That is the error. So if you can just look into this and you'll be able to see what is the error. Yeah. So on and so forth. You can make all the corrections. Once these corrections are made, they will come and show it as reconciled, or you have to move it to the other period. How will you move it to the other period? Same procedure. You'll just have to set the GST date. Yeah, you'll set the GST status or set the effective date as the case may be. If I make it 1/8, is the entry will get pushed forward. Okay, this entry is Sharda Polyflex, invoice number 48. Okay, move to other period. Other period. If you just look into this, you'll be able to find that, this entry is lying here, our period entry. And you'll be able to also make out, what entries pertain to current period in this particular return also. What are the entries that are pertaining to this particular period, and what are the entries that are, carry forward from the other period. Even those can be made out with this particular table on top, and you'll know even the mismatches, what are the mismatches that are carried forward and what are the mismatches for the current period. So with this information, once you have rectified all your uncertain transactions, there's no invoice, the debit credit note information. If once that is input correctly, you will be able to see that information as well. Yeah, so available only on portal, the H Farm solution in voucher number 2. Let me just see if it's available in the uncertain transaction. The H Farm solutions in voucher number 2. The GST information has not been input. Yeah, the debit note number and credit note number was 24 itself. I'm just going to keep it. Yeah, once I set this up, this particular error has been rectified. And if you'll just see, this particular information has been reconciled. Now, once you make all these changes here, the same will get affected in your GSTR 3B as well. Whatever changes are not made, same information will be affected in the 3B as well. Now, again, if you see over here, there are some uncertain transactions. Now, these are the information that was moved to the next period. If you remember, Sharda for Polyflex was moved to the next period. That is what it is showing here. What are the uncertain transactions? Whatever was not cleared in that return of 2B, same information is showing here. So once you make corrections in your 2B, all that information will be correctly flowed here, and accordingly your input tax credit will also be shown. Yeah. And if you want to manually remove any entry status, you can also do so. For example, you can set the status and remove that entry from here. Okay. So that is also possible, and it has to be done actually if you have to match your 2B and your 3B. And any reversals that you do can be done from here directly. You can do your stat adjustment here and make your reversals here. If you're, for example, reversing your input tax credit because of, say, non-payment to the supplier, or say, if you have on account claiming more, as also one query was there of Rule 86, even that can be done here in others. So all those reversals can also be done here directly, and also your payment can be passed from here. So again, the return export can happen, GST return and JSON file. Now you want, if this is your liability, this is the total ITC, and you can export this. Okay, same thing again, you can configure in case you want to configure, and you can make this change. Excel return utility is nothing but, the return will come in the Excel format, in the format of GSTN, wherein I'll just take you through GSTR1 itself because that is more relevant in GST. So, and also there are other types of returns that you can export. This current is nothing but this screen which is available to you, that will get exported. So you can just export this in this format. Just configure and it will tell you if you want to show the return status, and you want to show the breakup, you want the report condensed or detailed, you want report details based on included in return, mismatched, ready for export, not exported, okay, modified in books after export. So this information, for example, now just take this information here. let me check the period July. Yeah. Now I'm going to export the current sheet. I'm going to say I want detailed and modified in both books after export. Okay. Now, where is the file format is going to be Excel. You want to exit, yeah, the path is going to be this folder and GSTR1. There's nothing but this screen which we are seeing right here. The same will get exported. If you just look into this GSTR1, the screen which we were just looking into, the same screen got exported. Happened after filing. Since we have already moved to the next period, nothing is shown here. Okay. Let me just quickly change this view. Same particular return that you have exported, the same is showing here. Now, I had showed one saved view of sales extract, right? I don't want this in detail, but I want this in detail. Yeah, all change and return. I want to choose this GSTR1. Yeah, update existing file, yes. So now with this GSTR1, I'm going to extract this summary. Okay, this is the sales register extract. This is the invoice number, B2B, B2C, and so. So I don't have this separately, for which we will need detail. However, I can match the sales value. Let me just quickly add up the sales value. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, the period I forgot to change. Generally, what I do is I match it from that period. Okay, this is one match that you have to do before you file your return. I tell you the reason because certain entries, as I mentioned it earlier, that it gets missed from the return. Now you sometimes Tally is pretty slow in that matter. So you can just export this and check if there was really any entry that was missed after you make your correction. And you can, if there is no difference here, you can, blindly go and file your return. This also has to be because sometimes your books GSTR1 information of sales and your information of you just look at this information, there is a mismatch here, which that means it is pertaining some other, uh, you know, yeah, there is some other information that is flowing inside. It's not just the sales and the the ledger that has been affected. It's also some other information that has been included here. So there should ideally be no mismatch here. But if you just look at this, there is a mismatch here. So that information will come into picture. Now, if you just look into the details, I'll just go to columnar. Now you can get insights. Okay, you can just take this return information, all the entries of the return. Okay, and check it one on one. You can check B2B separately. You can make export this voucher wise, check these entries, and then go to your B2C and export and check. That also can be done. But however, one-time checking is required. Now, detail checking, you can create your folders. You can export the entire sales register columnar and take it. Now, credit note also you can export just like this. Okay, and check it. Now, since there's only one entry, I'm quickly just manually checking it. I'm not wasting time. Now, if you just look into this particular entry, yeah. If you just look into this particular entry, 16,030 is here the value. And over here, 16,038, it is matching. 1,78,000 is the sales value. If you just look into it, it is matching. So it will match ideally. Now, in the sales scenario, it was not matching. You'll have to just look into it why it was not matching. So this one final check is required before you file your return because it throws out your errors. Yeah. So you just look. I just gave you an example of now. It's not necessarily that it will be an error. It may be possible that it is lying in the debtors ledger or creditors ledger, or it should not lie in an asset ledger. Yeah. So all your sales and transactions should be in the revenue ledger, not in a asset or a liability ledger. So with that intention, the value is not right. If we drill down further, we'll be able to see what the error is. I hope we have covered everything. Komal,
Yeah.
over to you.
We'll just complete the queries.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Any way to auto calculate the common credit reversal?
Sorry?
If you open the Q&A, I think there are just 4 questions left. So we have.
Okay, I'll just open.
Yeah. So. And people, if you want to ask question directly, you can raise your hands now. So we can take up 1 or 2 questions. So you can raise your hands.
Yeah. Any way to calculate or auto-calculate common credit reversal? There is not any direct way to do it, but there is a workaround which can be done, or to use the help of a TDL. There's no direct way to auto-calculate the credit reversal.
Okay. Is there any SOP or PPT available as to how to file GSTR1 return and other GST items through Tally Advanced? PPT, I wouldn't.
You can use the Tally help feature that is available.
Yeah, actually, Tally help is. Let me just see if there's a link. Actually, Tally help ka link I'll give. So everything which relates to.
Also, the GSTR1, you'll find an n number of videos which you can see. I think that will be more helpful than your PPTs. Yeah, can we move forward to the next question?
Yeah, purchase register versus 2B. Somebody else just written.
Happen to the GSTR2. Yeah, the GSTR2 export in the newer version. Yes, this question was raised by me also. GSTR2B is what we have, or 2A is what we have. When you export this information, yes, this question even I had. It is available, but not directly.
So I guess we have answered all the queries. Anyone you want to ask a question, you can raise your hand now, or else we can actually conclude. So people are asking a lot of requests, asking for the recording. So again, all the recordings goes to the CA community portal, that is community.tallysolutions.com. Also, under Tally's official YouTube channel, there's a series of Tally CA Connect where all the videos of Tally CA Connects are being uploaded. So the video will be uploaded in a day or two. That's about it. And we have covered everything in the agenda. So for people requesting in Hindi, definitely. So as this is a pan-India audience, so we make sure that the session is covered in English, but definitely feedback is taken. We will see how we can have a Hindi speaker for covering GSTR returns in Hindi. Thank you for the feedback. Okay, we do not have any further questions, so we can end. Monika ji?
Yes, we can end. GSTR
There's
2
something
is
playing
actually,
on the screen. Is that, I can see the video moving. Is there a video being played? There is one last question. If we can, Acha, there are 2, 3 questions. Can we auto
yeah, we
reconcile if,
can answer.
yeah, can we do auto reconcile if we deduct TDS on the invoice?
Yeah, this is one issue that is there in Tally, and you have to set the status as reconciled in that scenario. I'm sure they're talking about the invoice value difference. Yeah, that has to be done. I think in the newer version of Tally, they're working on this one as well. It has already been given to the team.
How to download GSTR 2B in Tally 3.0 in Excel?
Yeah. So how you generally export the GSTR1? Similarly, you do GSTR2. I was trying to do that only, but by mistake I exported the GSTR. This itself, one itself. Actually, they have actually taken off the.
Okay, so is it not there? So we can move on.
No, it's not there right now. But yeah, this all I've spoken to the team. They're working on all of this, and then the newer version that is gonna come, then it's
I think
gonna be
again the
released. So all
same
these glitches
question
will be
has
solved.
come. That is, can we generate GSTR1 report without passing inventory? Like without stock item? I think
Yeah.
that's
So
what you answered.
yeah. So
Yeah.
this question is I think we can have them speak up so that we can answer this. Can we go to the next one? Then we can come back to this one.
You have said which release are you using? Which release of Prime is this? Are you using 4.1?
Yes, I'm using 4.1 in the session.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay, so this is the latest release, that is TallyPrime 4.1. If available on portal, only values are there in GSTR2B. Still, the status will show unreconciled. If available on portal, only values are there in GSTR2B. Still, the status will show unreconciled is the query.
Yes, this is also an issue. There is a way to do it, but it's pretty risky. For which I would say, we can keep it unreconciled itself, or you match the invoice number in those cases. So yeah, this is one issue that is there in Tally, which we have already spoken to, and there is a solution coming up.
Yeah, Mr. Girish is saying any lecture on TDS and TCS in GST, it is a great help. I think one session was done by you, only TDS and TCS pay. I think
No,
it
no,
was
no.
TCS. This is a
No, no,
different thing.
no.
I think it's on GST, so it's
Yeah,
a different thing. Okay,
yeah.
I
It's a
will
TDS
talk
on
to our
GST.
experts and see if we can make a session out of it. Thank you, Mr. Girish, for the feedback. That's all we really want, so that the CA Connect series comes up with new topic. So we'll definitely feedback taken on the same. And you are only exporting GSTR1, GSTR2 needed for reconciliation and other software. Is it, we have already done that, right?
No, I'm not able to understand. Is this the question or
Yeah, that's what
GSTR
it's,
two?
yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah,
This is
that's a
already
query.
discussed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
So
Whether,
GSTR two is even I have mentioned the same, and they said they will definitely look into this.
yeah, definitely it will be coming up. whether HSN summary is compulsory to give with return.
With GSTR1, yes, it is compulsory. The number of HSN digits, that is up to the business level. Then, if your company is, say, a small company, you might give 4 digits or 8 digits, but HSN information is compulsory.
Yeah. Again, Mr. Vishwas, yes, we will definitely upload this session on our community portal, that is CA community. If you are in Tally CA community WhatsApp group, we'll be definitely putting in the recording for there also. Please do ask if you're there. And third part where you can find this video is on our YouTube channel, that is Tally's YouTube channel under the series of Tally CA Connect. So best way and easier way is to see it in a CA community portal. That way you can see it in a very synchronized way. So that is why we always recommend Tally CA portal. Believer01, you've raised your hand. You have a query. I'm sorry, that's the name put.
There is some, can you please explain again? I don't understand. Explain what again?
I think, can you explain again? Kaunsa wala? Link for Tally YouTube channel. Okay. So it's actually, one second, I'll just give you Tally's YouTube channel. If you just type Tally Solutions, and in fact, just type in Tally CA Connect, you will get the direct link. 1 second, let me just get it for you, Tally CA Connect. So it's the entire watch list. It will show all the videos. I will just put in the chat right away. This is the YouTube watch list of CA Connect. 1 second. Okay, I guess all the queries are answered, and people who are asking to repeat again, I think once you see the video, you'll get to see the recording and refer to the recording again, as it is unclear as to which points you're asking. So thank you so much for being patient listener. Thank you so much, Monika ji, for doing the very detailed session. I'm sure this would be like a referral thing for anything they have to do with the GST. And definitely recording with the request of the recording, we can understand. Thank you so much, CA Pragadishan, also for helping with the feedback. Definitely. So I'll now end the session.
Yeah, I apologize truly for the glitch that happened from my end.
Yeah,
And make sure that this does
I
not
think so.
happen in future.
Technology being the biggest boon, but definitely we have to accept that there will be setup someday it gives up again. So yes,
Yeah.
I'm ending the session.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much.